Hey guys, Crazy Postman here. Well, if you saw my first RTK video a few weeks ago, this is going to be kind of a part 2 because when I did that first RTK video about the water getting inside, that was with a newer 3000 model RTK. So this one here is my original RTK that came with my, I call it my OG 5000 all-wheel drive model. So this one's been on the house for not quite a year, maybe 8-10 months. I'm not sure when I got it. I can't remember anymore, but it's been up there quite some time. We're going to take this one down and see if it includes the seal around the LED light in the front like the newer model did, and we're going to see if any water has gotten inside this older unit. You know, they are shipping out rain covers to the original pre-order holders. Now, if you're worried about water intrusion, you can always go on their website and purchase the little hat that goes on the RTK and the little rubber piece that goes on the Luba. The RTK and the little rubber piece that goes on the Luba. I'm gonna need you to hold your horses there, Crazy Postman of the past. This is Crazy Postman of the future, and upon looking on their website here, I go under accessories and I do not see that kit on here. So maybe it's not something they're gonna sell. Maybe they're only shipping it to the people who had an affected Luba. So evidently I'm wrong there. You cannot purchase the hat or the rubber piece for the Luba. So now back to our regularly scheduled postman here. So let's go ahead and get the ladder and get this one off the roof, and we're going to check it out. Now, if you remember the episode where I installed this up here, it's kind of southern engineered. There is, of course, some duct tape going on, and it's done the job. I've only had one problem where it got moved a little bit during a thunderstorm, and it caused Luba to go crazy. But that wasn't Luba's fault. That was because the RTK got twisted in a windstorm. So we're going to go ahead and get that off, and we're going to take it apart and see what the insides look like. Here is my wonderful installation of my RTK unit. You can see the green light is still on up there, so I haven't had any disastrous damage yet, but we still need to open it up. I just stuck this in a satellite TV pole and then put a lot of tape around it to keep it from wiggling. It doesn't really fit in a satellite TV pole, but I made do. Now, Momotion, bless their hearts, sent me a proper RTK mount, and I think they would like me to use that in my videos instead of this. But for right now, this is just easier because it is already here and I don't have to mess with anything. It works fine enough. But if you want to install one of these on your house, it's probably best to buy Momotion's mount because it will fit perfectly. But let's go ahead and get this down. So upon initial inspection and initial shaking, I don't hear any water sloshing around in there. So I'm thinking it's probably going to be okay, but we're still going to open it up and check it out. Well, unfortunately, I got all these screws out, but there is one more back here in the base, and it's way down in there, and the tool I brought with me cannot reach down there and get that one. So using the magic of video editing, I am now going to drive the 80-mile round trip to my house to get the proper tool. So it is a few hours later and we are now at my house in the studio. I decided just to do this here because I have a little bit better lighting than the backyard of my mom's house, so we can see what's going on in there. Now, like I said, it's been a few hours. I already got the manual mowing Luba video edited and uploading. It will be available in 14 minutes, so if you haven't seen the Luba manual mowing update is here video, I suggest you go watch that. It is super awesome. I love the manual mowing. But now to the task at hand here. Let's go ahead. I already got all these out at my parents' house, and then I just got this last one out here at my house. So let's go ahead and crack this thing open and see if there was any water ever inside of it. Okay, so haven't looked under there yet, but you can see I do have a nice seal here on the top piece. So there is a seal in the top piece. Now, drum roll please. Is there going to be evidence of water in here? Doesn't look like it. I don't see any dirt or evidence that there has been water in it. Okay, so here's a picture of the LED window on my RTK unit, and you can see there is no black goop around the bottom of it. So I just wanted to take a second to do a side-by-side here so you can see what I'm talking about. The newer 3000 model on the left has that black goop going around the edge of that LED window to keep water from getting in. Well, you notice that's missing on the older 5000 model. There is no water protection on that LED window. I guess it's just crazy luck that I didn't have water intrusion in mine. Maybe it was just manufacturing tolerances and mine just happened to be screwed together a little tighter. Who knows what the real reason is, but you can clearly see one has it and one doesn't. I'm one of the lucky ones here. I do not have the black goop around my LED window, but it doesn't appear that it leaked. So we've learned a few things in this video. Most importantly was I should always take one of my tools even when my dad says he has the right tool. The second most important takeaway from this video is that evidently not all old RTKs will develop a leak, because as you saw, mine it doesn't have the sealant around the LED. I think that's where a lot of people think they are leaking from, but mine wasn't leaking. There was no evidence of any water ever being in there. So maybe it was just some unlucky individuals, or maybe it was a certain batch that mine wasn't included in. So I'm going to finish driving this 40 miles to my parents' house, and we are going to get this RTK back up on the roof. And then we're going to make sure that I got it in the right spot and it's not going to like drive off into the pond or something. Well guys, you're not going to believe this. So I'm here back at my mom and dad's. I was going to put this back together and get everything going and say, hey, that's an end of this episode. You know, this is working fine. There was no water in it. See you in the next episode. Well, I can't reinstall this because I left the screws for it at my house. So I'm going to have to go back to my house yet again, get the screws, come back out here again, install it, and then I'll be done. Hey guys, I'm back. So this episode is like the gift that keeps on giving. It's like a series of unfortunate events.
I am your beloved Count Olaf.
So when we talked last, that was like 3 or 4 days ago now. I left the screws at home. Well, there's been a lot of things happen since then. So I got home, could not find the screws anywhere. I'm like freaking out. Okay, now my RTK is useless. I've lost the screws. And this went on for like 3 days. I had like given up. I'm like, it's over for my RTK. Well, last night I found the screws. Thank goodness. Finally found them. I was able to get this thing put back together and we are going to finally go get it back installed on the roof, and then make sure I do it in the right spot. So we're going to test Luba and make sure it doesn't go wildly out of its area. But that's not even the worst of it. So today, with the sole purpose of driving to my parents' house to put this RTK up, I jump in my car after work, leave to go there, and I left the stupid RTK at my house. I had to turn around and go back. Guys, this episode is like cursed. But at least we know my original RTK does not have water ingress problems. Y'all, just go ahead and hit the like for me on this video, because let's see, I'm probably going to make about $3 in ad revenue, and I've driven, let's see, 40, 80, 120, let's see. Let me do the math in my head. 8, 16, 24. I've driven 240 miles for this episode, and it was just a fun joke throwaway episode. Yeah, I don't have water in my RTK. 240 miles later. Okay, so I'm going to quit ranting now. I'm upsetting duckers back there in the back. I'm going to go ahead and drive down the road, and we will see you when I get to my parents' house in 26 miles. All right, so this is a familiar location. That is the pole. We're gonna go put this redneck RTK back up there, and of course we're gonna use some duct tape. I already got it sitting here ready to go. Hey guys, it's Future Crazy Postman. So this episode is about to go off the rails. It's basically done. We found out that I put the RTK back on the roof. Everything works fine. Now, if you want to stop watching now and save yourself, please, by all means, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. But if you want to see me struggle for about 10 or 15 more minutes, I don't know how long this is going to be because I haven't edited it yet, then continue, because you're about to see me struggle for quite some time. I always take simple things and make it difficult. So let's go ahead and see how this episode spins out of control while I try to get the Luba to mow the front yard. Well, Luba's not playing nicely today. I tried to log into the app and I got this. Maybe it's because the RTK has been off for so long. Yeah, Luba rolls easily, so it is completely powered off right now. I wonder if being out of communication range from the RTK for so long causes it to just go to sleep. So we're just waiting for Luba to get a connection with the RTK. I know the RTK is up there and powered on because I can see the green light. But when you first boot up Luba, it takes a few minutes. I guess there's not quite enough shared satellites yet. This isn't looking good because it seems like if it is float for 2 or 3, 4 minutes, I'm not sure the exact time frame, the GPS system will reset and you kind of have to start all over again. So right now it's still building up satellites. Luba started at like 15 and co-viewing was like 15, but it's working its way up. Hopefully we can get a fix right here before Luba decides to reboot everything and start from scratch. Come on. Oh no! Dang it. Now we gotta start all over. We gotta start all over. And we're gonna start at, oh, it started at 18 this time. Come on. We're about to the time limit. Come on, Luba. Ah, yep. We hit the time limit. It's resetting again. Alright. we are going to manually drive Luba out into the middle of the yard, just so I can hurry up with this test. I have to manually leave the dock because there is no position. See, as soon as I came out of the dock, I got position. I'm going to go ahead and park back in the dock. I'm going to do an auto dock so Luba knows its position. You always want to do an automatic pile down and an automatic park if you have to reboot Luba. So that way Luba knows where the charging station is in the world and everything is right. So Luba is docked. We have position. I'm going to go ahead and say automatic. All right. So now everything should be perfect on my map. We did the automatic leave dock. We got good position. We're going to go out here into the front yard and try mowing this area right here. So I'm just doing this to check Luba's positioning. So really, I'm only going to stay here and watch when it does the outside perimeter, just to make sure everything lines up. So we're going to go ahead and tell it to do that on manual. We're going to bump it up to max and Border Patrol. Okay, get out there and get after it, Tiger. Bump you down to 2 inches. Loading complete. All right, there it is. Task start. I'm gonna go ahead and flip over to video. There's Luba. It's gonna go back and mow in this area. So I did get the RTK installed back up here on the roof. Everything looks good with it. It looks like it's in the exact same spot, but that's why I'm doing this test run with Luba around the perimeter, just to make sure everything is square before I leave, because y'all know I live pretty far away from here. Not sure why it's doing a little Luba dance here, but it is right at the edge of a boundary. Sometimes Luba does weird dances around the edge of boundaries. It's just something it does. It doesn't really matter. One of its many quirks and features. Alright, so it should turn that way and make a beeline down the center of the yard. Now, back in the day, when Luba was first beginning its life, I had this whole area as one zone, but now that's too big for the max zone size, so I had to split it in half down the middle, which is fine. We'll let Luba go ahead and hit its perimeters, and I'll make sure everything's right. Well, this is irritating. So I had to remap some of the area over here because I didn't know they changed the shape of the flower bed, and just a little bit. And when I say preview, it never works. Saying preview after I edited the boundary. Device link is abnormal. What does that even mean? Why can't I modify the boundary? Modify boundary, start. Okay, here we go. Preview. Come on. Oh my gosh. Why? Why, Luba? Why will you not let me? Come on. I'm not going to be able to mow my front yard if I cannot change these boundaries. So this is the addition. All I need to do is move Luba's boundary over a foot, and I can't. Nothing in life is ever easy, I swear. I guess it decided it's going to meet up with the boundary over there. So now I gotta wait till it gets all the way back around the yard before I can see what it's gonna do. The only thing I was able to change, because I tried to edit it and it wouldn't work, but I put it on level 2 avoidance. Maybe it will avoid that instead of just run square into it over and over since it's in its path. I don't know. We'll see how it reacts when it gets back around, but it's gonna be a while. For the most part, the edges do seem to be lined up really well. So I'm not too worried that I didn't get it back into the same spot, because Luba is following its previous path perfectly. Now remember, this time I do have it on level 2 avoidance. You would think the front sensors would see this pole, and then the side sensors would keep it out away from it. But we'll see what actually happens here. And it just squarely punches it right in the face. Sensors didn't even see it. So now, hey now. And it didn't avoid it at all. Again. I don't know. Level 2 avoidance is pretty much useless here, it looks like. Come on, Luba. Alright, we're going to try to adjust the map one more time. Okay, so I triggered the stop button, so we're going to have to say mow and start to unlock it. And then it's going to try to start again. I'm going to quickly just end this. And we are going to try to edit it one more time. So I'm going to back Luba up to the beginning of the problem area. Modify boundary. Let's zoom in here so we can see what we're doing. Start. Oop. We lost position. We are under a tree. We just have to wait. This didn't happen last time, but it's not that abnormal because we are under a tree. And the satellites have moved in orbit since the last time I was here, about 20 minutes ago, so they may not be in an optimal orbital path now to give me signal under this tree. That's what you have to remember. The satellites in orbit are constantly moving. So one day at a certain time, you may have perfect signal in a certain spot. And then the next day or an hour later, you may not. And that's just because satellites are continuously moving. I do like how we can minimize this now. And we can look and see how we're doing. I got stuck in a bad spot. I am right underneath the trunk of a tree here. Let's see if I can turn on the face cam and show y'all. So Luba is down here and we are under this pine tree here. We are still in float, waiting for the recovery. We do have a few minutes of float and then it will reset just like earlier. That's all we can do. This isn't really Motion's fault. I mean, it's physics. There's a tree blocking the view of the sky. See, sky, no sky. It's as simple as that. We just gotta wait. Eventually, some different satellites will pass by in this open area and we will get a better signal. We just got to wait on it. So you can see we're up to 26 now. Hey, there we go. It's been like 5 minutes. Let's get away from this tree trunk. All right. So here we go. We're going to say preview. Hey, it worked this time. what boundary you're going to start at this time. Please go that way. I think I got it edited and it's going to work. Alright, it's in the process of turning around. Remember, I have 0 turning mode turned off. So hopefully it will go around this without hitting it. You can see it's already further left. And perfect. Now up here at the end of this is where I got stuck under this tree for about 5 minutes. But I eventually regained signal and was able to continue mapping. Right there is where I got stuck for a while. Kind of paused there and thought about it for a minute. This is where I edited the map. I think that's why it's doing some extra weird stuff. It's doing its little bounce back and forth now. This whole little so that's where I stopped editing the map right there. So it looks like my edits are not smooth because it is causing Luba a lot of grief. There. Now we're past my edit, so it should act normally now. Maybe later, when I'm not frustrated, I'll come back in and edit this again and make it smoother. But right now, I've been messing with this for so long, I'm ready to just go home. So I may even eventually just cut out this whole area, because tell you the truth, that's a big problem area for Luba. A lot of extra backing and turning and moving. You can see its tire marks are exactly where they were last time. So it's within its 2 centimeter accuracy window. You can see the old wire buried in the ground from the robo mower. Don't need that anymore. Look, you see its tire marks? It is literally driving in the exact same tire marks. Alright, we're ending this episode. It has gone on long enough. What a day. So we finally got all that figured out. It's all working now. Everything's fine. I left Luba mowing in the front yard and I'm on my way back home. Everything is good. Ended up being a successful episode, even though I just made it extremely difficult when it really didn't need to be. I kept losing stuff and forgetting things. That's completely my fault. So hopefully when I film the next episode of whatever I'm filming on my YouTube channel, it doesn't spin out of control like this one did. Thanks for watching. I'll see y'all in the next one.